Most property owners look up at the sky and worry that a sudden downpour is what will derail their commercial roofing project. But the real threat to your schedule rarely comes from the weather, or even the physical installation itself. It all comes down to the paperwork. The permit strategy you lock in before the job starts dictates the physical reality on site. It controls the exact day you can begin tear-off, when your materials can actually be delivered, and when those massive cranes are allowed to operate without being shut down. The City of Long Beach is strict about its regulatory scope. While you might assume a quick repair is exempt, the city legally mandates a formal permit for almost all commercial re-roofing, structural deck repairs, recover systems, and work tied to mechanical penetrations. Leaving the responsibility for pulling that permit floating in the wind is an operational hazard. If the building owner, the facility manager, and the roofing contractor all assume someone else is managing the applications and tracking revisions, your field crews will end up sitting on their hands. Treating the permitting phase as a minor administrative formality is a direct path to bleeding cash. When nobody owns the approval process clearly, project timelines stretch and those early budget estimates evaporate. The very first decision you make can easily become your first major mistake, forcing your project down the wrong bureaucratic pathway. Long Beach splits commercial roofing permits into two distinctly different lanes. The express permit lane is designed for speed, but it has rigid boundaries. It is strictly reserved for simple construction and very specific like-for-like roof replacements. If you are upgrading to a new TPO or PVC membrane, adding insulation, or correcting drainage issues, your project automatically belongs in the submitted plan review lane. This path involves multiple reviewers, complex steps, and strict compliance checks. Assuming a complex replacement qualifies for an express permit guarantees a schedule collapse. When the city rejects that misclassified application, your entire timeline resets to zero, pushing back every subsequent trade scheduled on the roof. The second trap catches teams who submit generic documents to city reviewers. A standard re-roof template will not survive the initial screening. Long Beach reviewers expect comprehensive construction data. They demand exact square counts, detailed drainage patterns, edge metal profiles, flashing transitions, and complex Title 24 energy reports. Submit a thin package and the city kicks it back. You will be locked into weeks of frustrating, project-stalling revision cycles before a single roll of membrane is ever ordered. Even with an approved permit in hand, the execution phase holds its own set of traps. The most common surprise mid-project is discovering your building falls under hidden multi-agency jurisdictions. If your property sits in a coastal zone, a historic district, or triggers air quality requirements from the AQMD, standard timelines disappear. A basic warehouse re-roof moves at a very different speed than a multi-trade improvement near the harbor. Then comes the inspection domino effect. Any work requiring a permit in Long Beach legally mandates formal city inspections. If the roof isn't ready when the inspector arrives, or the approved plans are missing from the site, the visit fails. The city only charges a standard $113 fee for a reinspection, but the real penalty is operational. You are suddenly scrambling to reschedule expensive cranes, re-notify angry tenants, and pay overtime rates to secure temporary waterproofing. A single failed inspection transforms a routine administrative error into a catastrophic logistical bottleneck. The best way to protect your occupancy, deliveries, and budget is to build your project schedule backward from your final operational goal. You start with the completed building and reverse engineer the timeline right down to the initial application. The fastest projects are the ones with the fewest unanswered questions. Maintaining strict scope discipline and complete paperwork clarity will always save you more time than prematurely rushing crews out to a site. That is why the most critical step you can take happens before you ever speak to a city reviewer. You need a permit-ready roof assessment to neutralize those bureaucratic traps. This assessment answers 6 vital questions before any paperwork is filed. What is the exact roof scope? Which specific permit path fits it? What drawings and energy documents are required? Which departments need to review it? What is the expected inspection sequence? And what operational constraints must the contractor build around? Locking in those 6 answers stabilizes your financial budget. It gives your facility team the exact data they need to guarantee a reliable communication calendar for tenants and vendors. Mastering the permit phase eliminates risk and turns it into a controlled project launch. Reach out to Commercial Roofing Long Beach today to schedule your permit-ready roof assessment and lock in your timeline.